Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video of what if Deku was Fire Fist Ace. That's what I'm going to call it because it's a pretty long intro for the first part. If you're hearing that clicking sound in the background, it's my refrigerator. So yeah, where we left off, it was it was against like Zuko versus, or actually, yeah, the Zuko was ready to do some splash damage onto Todoroki, as Todoroki's like, okay. And yeah. But after the sports festival thing, or I'm skipping it, so during the raid arc, not a camp arc, raid arc, who's the one that got captured? Sorry if I was like missing something. So yeah, who's the one that got captured this time was none other than Zuko. Yeah. And the girlfriend that he, or that someone, or no, her, she ends up telling him that her and him should go on a date with each other. As he says, okay. And yeah. And his internship is with Endeavor. And yeah. He does like face out against Hero Killer Stain. But he got taken out. Not Zuko, but Hero Killer Stain got taken out by hot water. And yeah, it's basically now Zuko did the same thing. Like, he got so mad. You know what? As he says, you know why? As he starts doing that, as he basically captures all the villains by himself because no one can, or no pro heroes came to save him. As he trained harder and harder. Like, basically, even Todoroki, or not Todoroki, not even him could even try to touch him because the water and the flames and boiling water was too much for him. Yeah. He basically did like that. He took out everyone. He even like, yeah. And Toga at the time she was at camp. Because she's not a villain. She's like a pro hero in this What If story. Or no, she's not a pro hero. She's a student hero. As when she knows that as his, yeah, he walks like Endeavor. As, yeah. And facing against All for One. Yeah, as All for One says, have you figured that out yet? You have a quirk called Zero, or like the water under quirk. It allows you to basically turn water into cold, like so cold it freezes people to death. But you've figured out a way to heat the water up to boiling point. How is that possible? Usually you need like two quirks to fuse it together. Huh. And Zuko was like, none of your beeswax. My powers, as he says, my powers, infinite. The new people shouldn't underestimate my power. As he basically does like this rapid shot, and he basically like beats a snot out of All for One and puts him in like the watery bubble that the water is so hot it melts a meat right off the bones. Even melt a bone too. So yeah. All for One isn't gonna survive it. Because Zuko is at that point. As he like earns everything. Like when he shot the spear, yeah, it wasn't just a tiny explosion like what that is. is is it was the like an it's just like a spirit bomb mixed with like 25,000 nukes put together, sending it barreling through. And yeah, All for One died as a big explosion happens, as everyone from the city could watch the firework of death and this despair thing, as he wasn't messing around. And before we head any further, I'm gonna say that gray thing I forgot to mention. That gray thing is actually his lollipop that he has in his mouth. Just to clear things up for you. So, yeah, All for One died. All the or like the high-end villains swarmed in, but he took care of all of them. Like he wasn't just like messing around. As the news reporters was watching him beating all the villains that weren't like low tier villains. They were like end of world kind in of villains. And yeah, Zuko was basically beating snot out of everyone, or all the high end villains. Yeah, and the Nomus. As yeah, none of them even came close to injuring him. As All Might finally showed up, and when after he saw how much destruction Zuko could cause, even Zuko's father even couldn't believe that his own son and did all that damage to the villains, but they still survived. Most of them. Basically all of them. But as All Might asks and Zuko, where's All for One? As he's don't worry about him, he got obliterated to death, basically. And yeah. That is just scary. Having to go against the as All for One tells Zuko that he does have a quirk. That could freeze a person solid. Yeah. As he walks up to his father, or to Fire Breath guy name. And where are you going? Where do you think I was gonna go? To try to find out where the nearest lollipop store. As he pulls out the lollipop thing and it was done. Okay. Can I come with you? Sure. As he goes, as his own father tells him that, okay, confess. Usually, what did you do back there? What did All for One say? Well, at first I thought he was going to be a quack job. But he said that, oh, you do have a quirk. The doctor was lying to you about not having a quirk. And you can become a hero. As when he heard that his own son has a quirk, and what quirk is it, son? It's ice water. Basically, I can produce ice water from my hands. And it's very, very cold. But I got it to the boiling point. So hot that it could melt a person instant. That's what I did with All for One. she grabs a lollipop thing. Yeah. So when he heard that his own son figured out the quirk, her, the ice thing, sorry, he became much more like happy about it. Sorry about that name. So yeah, and yeah, and let's go home after. Okay, sure. And they all were like, after they like cleaned up the city, then they went home, and when the Sashi told Inko that their son has a quirk, she went from being like that to being so happy that she actually, and this is what Hasashi says. I think that doctor needs to be taken that lied to us back. Yeah, so Inko was like, wait, so what do you mean lied? Well, the remember that news thing? Yeah. Well, before he said that the good doctor was lying to your parents about it. But oh well. As yeah. As he basically, yeah. The next day they, yeah. So I'm skipping the dodgeball thing. But during the like before the overhaul arc, next night, or like when they were in bed sleeping, he woke up to use the bathroom. He basically, when he woke up, he actually teleported, got teleported to the doctor's. As he says, you know I'm very tired, right? And it was the same one that was working with All for One. Yeah. He says, well, oh. Of course, it was in his his darker, like, so he says, yeah. Of course, Zuko says, you must be the one that lied to my parents about. Yes, but there's also one thing that I haven't told them, but I may tell you. You have a ability to bend the entire universe. Or like, basically, he has or not him, but Zuko has the infinity ability. Like, basically, he can do whatever he wants without having to deal with any like side effects. As that kind of caught Zuko off guard. As yeah, so Zuko, or so the doctor showed him that his blood can take more than just one quirk. It takes, and it turns, or basically, he's the one, yeah, that knew that Zuko had a ability to bend reality and do all that stuff. Kind of like Thanos, but instead of using or it's just like Thanos, but without the using or the glove to hold his powers things. Yeah. As he goes in and like as he sees a like a little kid in the glass thing. As yeah, Zuko takes the doctor and that little kid, or as he takes a picture of the entire thing, and yeah, as he goes right to the police station, and yeah, and middle of the night, or actually, Mr. Azawa was like, "What are you doing up, Hin?" As he says, "Oh, I had something for," yeah. And what are those two people? Well, as Mr. Azawa knows, the some reason I got teleported to where the villain's base was, like the true base, and the guy that was, as he tells Mr. Aizawa that during the All for One fight against Zuko, before he says, "The good doctor, you know him, the good quirk doctor, and I are partners." So, yes. So that's why. And this kid was a prisoner, as he sees handcuffs and like ankles, as the little kid, Zuko set him down, as that kid's begging for his life to be spared him, that man. He points to the doctor, as Mr. Azawa agrees that, and plus he looks, as the doctor's like is laughing like, "You think that you're so smart, Captain, or not Captain, you're so smart that you think that Zuko has one quirk, but he has one quirk, two abilities. The first one you already know as fire fist, but the other is actually infinity. As that kind of worries Mr. Aizawa. Just enough to be at beep, beep, don't. Okay. So yeah, as Zuko says, yeah, at first I didn't believe it until, okay, if you don't mind. Yeah, so Mr. Zawa took the doctor her to the over to police station and took the son to that little kid to the another doctor's. Yeah, Azuku wants to go back to sleep as a portal opens up. Green portal opens up. Or fiery red. It's just like that one. But instead of like conjuring up a fireball, it teleports him back to home. And he laid it on his own bed. As Mr. Aizawa's like, well, that kid's power level is. What did he have? As the doctor tells, or actually, the Mr. Aizawa asked the doctor, and then the doctor says, well, Zuko, who has this infinity, his blood. So basically, he can become the world's most powerfulest person, the world's most dangerous person, if he got left in to the wrong hands. That's well, as he knows that he doesn't want to leave him with the villains, so yeah. The next morning, Eraserhead asked Zuko if you want to watch the student or watch them train, because your special training will be okay. Yeah. So then all that stuff. So now he's called his little sister, or his sister, or Zumi sister. So yeah, because Inko tells Zumi to go hang out with her brother, as her brother and her were so they used to play little games. Yeah. And Zuko got his blood thing, when they took some blood in to see if the rumors were true. When they got it back, all the pro heroes had the same face reaction of, yeah. They couldn't believe that his that Fire Breath's son is now the most powerfulest person in the entire world. So now they skip the dodgeball and yeah. So overhaul fight. Zuko saved his sister from getting crushed by a giant hand. And yeah, he does that. And he sends like Ninja or Overhaul flying and as he says, let's go or over as he like shoots hot water on or at Overhaul and yeah. So he took care of all the villains with such swiftness and like all that stuff. Oh. So yeah. You might think he's broken. So yeah, he is. He's an overpowered dude. He uses his swords. Like he pulls out his sword and like to chop glass out. Yeah. And of course, Ochako finds him attractive too. Because between her and Ochako, yeah. They're both like giving each other death stares for it. And Zuko's like, or no, Zumi's like looking at both of them. Like, she asked Ochako, why are you two always giving death glares? I can tell. And she's like, well, I want to, like, date him first. And, of course, then they're like, they're very archetype, but, well, during the, like, war thing, like, after, and Zumi says, I'll talk to my brother about. As they're like, no. As they're trying to hold her back. As she starts running and goes up to her brother and tells him that there's two people fighting over you. Ochako and that fiery girl. Okay. And Zuko says, okay. As he says this, I don't mind in dating both of them at the same time. As Ochako and Fiery Girl, they both got married to Zuko and had a kid that has gravity's powers and the flames and like all that stuff. So that's pretty messed up. And yeah. So this is the end of the video. Please leave a like, share, subscribe, and do all that cool stuff. And hit the little bell.